right, True Earthers. It's time for some NASA, not a space agency gravy. So, today we're going to be discussing the whole doomed Challenger event and the astronauts who were supposedly killed. Am I allowed to say that? Who were supposed to be supposedly killed during that launch. So let's dive in, see what really happened.
January 28th, 1986. Humanity was about to witness one of the most horrific tragedies in history. 7 crew members are heading out to board a doomed shuttle. One of them is a school teacher. This is the first time a teacher would travel to space. The world is watching with excitement and anticipation.
Keep that in mind. So, first time a teacher was launched into space. Okay. I wasn't born at this time, but according to those who, were alive to see this, basically, the story is when this was going down, they either wheeled the TV into the front of the classroom or brought kids to the auditorium to watch this thing happen live. Okay? Because a teacher was involved. All right, so all eyes on this. If you know me, I know what's up behind this. I'm going to get into that. But keep that in mind. Wheeled out for everyone to see, including children.
Seven lives were lost on that fateful day.
I've seen something similar to this, and this was the was it the Columbia? It was when Bush was still president. That was the one for me. That's what that's the one I witnessed, and I remember I was at home when that one happened, and my mom, I was like, "What's going on? What's going on? What is that?" Because by the time I peeped it, it was already like pieces falling down. So she didn't know what it was either because she was flicking through the channels, and she was like, "I don't know, it might be a missile." So that got me shook because I didn't know until after they repeated and said what happened at the I believe it was called the Columbia when that one basically the same thing happened. So, and I remember when that happened, if you guys remember this, remember they were telling people not to touch the pieces, that whomever came across it, not to touch any piece of debris that landed, to stay away from it. And remember they told you it might have radioactive chemicals and shit like that. I'm like, yo, and like in hindsight, you're like, holy shit, no, they did that so you wouldn't see the fakery of the shuttle. You won't see how light it was, the material. You won't investigate it. So they scared you by saying it was radioactive. But okay, and now you saw that crash, you saw that explode, and you see the trauma left behind, because remember, these kids saw this. So with that, there is no room for fakery. There is no room for anyone to say it was fake. This is already believed going in. Now you add a tragedy to it, and lives are lost to it. It must have really happened, right? Because there's funerals, there's lives. It was a teacher. Hello, kids have a teacher in front of them. There's a teacher on a spacecraft. It blows up. It's as if they lost their own teacher. And several astronauts whom a lot of them probably dreamed to be someday. So this is real for them. Okay? I bet you these are the ones that's harder to convince that NASA's a lie.
Or were they?
I don't see any discrepancies here, yo.
Did NASA lie to us? And if so, why?
Yes, they did.
The space race came on the heels of the Cold War in the 1980s. It was a competition between countries to develop aerospace capabilities, including artificial satellites, unmanned space probes, and human spaceflight. It is possible that NASA may have deceptively conducted some spaceflights unmanned due to limited funding and to maintain its leading position in space exploration. For whatever the reason may be, the Challenger crew may not have been on board the shuttle. Despite the many theories, it is simply not plausible that the explosion of the Challenger was in any way intentional or foreseen by NASA. If the Challenger mission of 1986 was deceptively unmanned, the explosion would have left NASA and the purported crew members in a precarious situation. Fortunately, living under the radar was much easier back then prior to the internet age, which may be why 3 of the crew kept their names. The Challenger astronauts weren't exactly celebrity status, with the exception.
You know what? That's interesting. I never thought of it that way. Initially, you know, when you hear about this tragedy, even now thinking back at the whole Columbia one, it may not have been it may not have been on purpose. It may have actually been an accident, and this was their way to deal with it, to cover it up, right? Now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, yeah. I don't know, because sometimes things go wrong, you know, because that's why they're probably biting their nails, even though they know it's fake. The whole launch is fake, but maybe this was it. Okay, you guys launched up, went to space. You're not gonna do it again when you're done. You're not gonna do it again, right? Or if you're gonna do it again, we're gonna keep you we'll keep bringing you back to headquarters or in a green screen and keep pretending you're floating in space and stuff like that, and go on with your lives after you're done. But after the crash, they're like, oh shit, now how do we do this? You know what? The people who died were your twins. You guys go back, go do what you were going to do before we hired you to do this shit. I never thought of it that way. I missed it watching this the first time, but yeah, that's an interesting way of doing it. Now, it makes sense because sometimes, you know, they do these things, you know, they like to, the trauma thing. You know, because remember, this was wheeled out in front of the kids. That's still a possibility that this was on purpose because of them. So, who knows, yo? Fact of the matter remains, though, this shit's fake because NASA's fake. So, whichever way it is, if this was an accident or not, it's still a lie, you know?
Teacher Krista McAuliffe. The facts to support this theory are extensive. This video will only highlight a few. The statistical probability of the 3 living doppelgangers with the same names, despite 2 of the names being exceptionally uncommon, is practically impossible. Minor alterations to appearance, such as teeth straightening, are common procedures. No birth records could be found for either of the twin brothers, Carl and Claude Onizuka.
Yo, no birth records. How you yo? And here's what's missing from this one, right? Here's what's missing from this one. Because in the beginning they said they have more information than what they're showing right here. Here's one I've heard before. That none of them went to their so-called twin siblings' funerals. That's what's missing from this little TikTok here. None of them visited. Like, if you lose a sibling, especially to something like that, you're gonna be there, right? None of them showed up for it. Keep that in mind. I'm telling you, okay, the mental gymnastics. If you believe this is real, how is this possible? How is it possible, y'all? It ain't. It ain't, yo. Statistically impossible. One of them, fine. But the whole crew has a twin out there? And come on, how can you explain this? That you're gonna have to do some fiction writing to go through the mental gymnastics to come up for a reason why each of them had a twin. And has NASA's come out and said, oh, well, we did it because of this. And even if, what story do you have? What other case does this happen in? That you purposely got twins? You got a twin of someone else? Just like, what is this? What are you doing here? What's the why? Why at all? Think about that.
If the other 2 Challenger crew members, Gregory Jarvis and teacher Krista McAuliffe, are still alive, they have yet to be found. An unknown investigator tracked down the living doppelganger of Challenger pilot Michael J. Smith and conducted a field interview, which he later posted on social media.
Is Challenger pilot Michael J. Smith alive and well? Take a look at the footage and let me know what you think. Hey there. Hey, sorry to bother you. I was pulling out and I saw you. I just came by to... Are you Michael Smith?
Yeah.
Professor at university?
Retired.
Retired?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just stopped by because there's this room. Are you aware of that? There's a rumor on the internet.
It's not me.
That people are saying.
Yeah, it's not me.
Quick to answer.
Looks at my background, looks where I was born. It's not me.
He was ready for it.
It's interesting that the Michael J. Smith that was the astronaut looks something like me when we were younger, but really not if you really look at facial recognition.
You never been a pilot, never been in the military?
Nothing like that.
Huh.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, yo.
That's
You
all
seem
right.
a little too used to that.
respond
You seem a little too used to, like, the way he answered that. That seemed like he had to say, I don't know, man. Like, somebody comes to you in your at your property unannounced and you were ready for an answer because once he mentioned, he was like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna go through the whole spiel, what they told me to say, right? He was a little too quick. He's a little too calm with that. Usually, like, if somebody approached me about the same thing over and over, let him finish, then I'll continue this part. Let me let that part finish.
emails I get probably an email, maybe 2 a month.
Really?
And I got one guy that's been really hounding me, and I turned it over to the FBI.
Really?
But, I mean, it's bullshit.
Okay.
Another crazy theory.
Okay. So he's been interviewed before. He's been approached before, hounded online plenty times. So he contacts the FBI. That's his next move, right? So if a stranger comes to you, just rolls up on your property, this is your reaction to it? If you had to go as far as to call the authorities and the higher authorities, right? The gov, the G-men, you had to get them because you have to deal with this all the time. You're not saying get off my property. You ain't cocking a shotgun or something to be like, get away from me. I'm not answering this again. You're prepared for this, yo. You're prepared to be approached. And you have a script. That's how I'm seeing this, because on top of the fact that NASA's bullshit and the whole twin thing, that's the most convenient thing I've ever seen. That's the most you have to be a coincidence theorist to believe that. So for you to react so calm like that with questions like, nah, yo, no, I am like, I'm tired of this. I had to call it plenty times, call the authorities plenty times, and you're coming here to me with this shit. Nope. I don't know you. You approach, you have a phone in your hand, a camera recording me. I want my privacy. I'm tired of this shit. Why am I talking to you? But you're going to stay there and actually talk to this guy? It's not because you're old, you lived your life. Nah, stop playing. Do you have family, son? I need to know if he has family, because I'm like, you're a little too cool-headed with something like that you had to call the FBI for. But you're there and you're going to... Is it because the guy's unassuming? I don't think you take that chance. The guy questioning you, is he because he doesn't seem like a threat? I don't know, yo. That's just because he's quick. He's like, it was like a fun interview for him, yo. You see the way he looks, like he's like, well, no, I'm not him. I'm not him. You know, I'm not him. Well, I'm glad I'm not him, but he's like there. He's glad to say this. It's like, this is fun for him, yo. That's what it seems like. So I don't know. They must have paid him some good bank.
Okay.
But that's, not me.
All right.
I'm glad I wasn't him, but he's quite a guy.
Yeah.
But if you look at my career, you look at my CV that's online, all this.
Nah, he sounded too ready.
Well, take care.
It seems a bit strange that Mr. Smith mentioned reporting a harassing emailer to the FBI. An average person would have reported it to the local police department or sought a no-contact or restraining order. However, if he is the Challenger pilot, it is unreasonable to expect him to admit it. Did NASA lie to us? Is there a possibility that the Challenger crew could still be alive? What are your thoughts on this?
Drove an hour.
Big lie. Big lie there. Straight up. That trauma shit, they rolled it in front of all the students so they could see. That's part of the whole indoctrination thing. So they will know within. It's not a belief for these kids. They will know this is real. They just saw it on TV. Everyone saw it same time. They rolled out the TV. The people who are alive to see that, this is what they say happened, right? And even the ones who believe it happened, this is their story. This is what they say happened. They rolled out the TV so everybody saw it. And they're the ones that were there who saw the launch. Okay? I'm like, how you going to defeat that? With the truth, yo. And then when you see it explode, which now after watching this, I'm like, it very well may have been an accident and that part wasn't orchestrated and this was the backup plan. They had to move quickly or something because they were probably getting agitated. They couldn't just kill them all. They probably could have, but something, yo. Something. I would like to know the whole story of that. So there's like a deathbed confession or something about why would they come up with a stupid story? But then again, when they do this, it's like a karmic thing. They have to tell you without telling you. It's up to you to figure it out. If you're smart enough to figure it out, you've just escaped. You've just unplugged. But if not, you're willingly staying in. They got you. They have nothing to pay for later on. And this could be very well one of these things because a lot of the mistakes they make, you're like, if I was doing that, I would have done better. But sometimes you gotta think, yeah, this is how they go. It's like the whole vampire thing. You have to invite them in. They can't just come and attack you. But once you invite them in, it's all, whatever they do from that point, it's all on you. You shouldn't have done that. This is what it is. Like, this is their asking your permission to come in the door. Is believing this shit when they're ready. They're asking permission was the bullshit story of all the twins, right? The bullshit of all the glitching in the spaceship, in the shuttle, phasing through shit, all this, the whole Shatner landing, and all this is that. That's them asking your permission to, if they can keep lying to you, right? You believing it, saying yes, you did it. Oh my God, I can't wait to be an astronaut myself. That's them walking. That's you saying, okay, you could come through the door, right? And you know what the bite is? Them taking your money, them making money off of you, them keep on going on with the bullshit and the fuckery, all right? Because it's been brought up over and over again. Like, there's too many questionable things with these people. Don't forget who started that. I'm like, yo, again, who started NASA? I'm sorry I'm glitching out right now. I'm seeing that there's a delay. I hope you guys could bear with it or has been bearing with it and gone this far. My bad. But who? I don't get it, yo. These people were started you see, I'm saying it, yo. These people were started by Nazis, right? NASA. Okay. They started this because they lost the war, which may have been all orchestrated with whichever that theory goes. But we know they lost. They're not Nazis, right? Okay, we know we don't like these people. We know this is an evil group of people, right? That's a common consensus, right? That this is evil. We know this. But just because the U.S. hires their best scientists to create a space program, they're good people. They were paid to do this. They were like, okay, you work for us, or you have to pay for what happened in World War II. Which one do you want? This is under duress here. This is like, oh my God, it's an ultimatum here. All right, according to the story. So even the official story they told us should still have you saying, well, yeah, but they don't have to do this willingly and be happy to, right? Because they lost the war. They don't like us. This is the money that's got them doing all this space shit that we enjoy. So if that's the case, you have to understand that these are evil people going in. Believing that this is fake or not, you still have to concede to that. Okay? So with that now, with all the hate everyone has for Nazis, why is it outside of the realm of belief that this is fuckery that they're pulling? Why is it bullshit? Explain that to me, yo. Why is this bullshit now? You mean to tell me you're taking a word over Nazis? And mind you, yeah, wasn't Werner von Braun friends with Disney and with the shit they're doing? Why is this? Yo, come on, yo. You're not gonna question this shit? You're not gonna say to yourself, this does not pass the smell test whatsoever. But you're willingly believing this shit. That's insane. You got, yo. This ain't something. Yeah, I don't know what to tell y'all. If anybody who believes these people, I'm sorry. You could go ahead and try to justify or have fun with the weights in your head with this one. All right. I don't know what to tell you to help you understand that this is fuckery. Like I've already said, like I to this day I can still watch, I can still enjoy my sci-fi movies, my space adventure movies, even write scripts on it. I can still do that. I'll still enjoy the hell out of it. But I will still know there's nothing out there. I will still know we live under a firmament. I would still know this is a level ground. This is a level realm. I will know that, but still have my fun with my imagination to say, oh, that's because it's kind of cool, that vast expanse, but at the same time, like, okay, even if I didn't want to go there, there's so much here. There's so much history we haven't even touched on that can be told in stories, in movies and stuff like that. So what's being taken away from you other than a fantasy they gave you that you thought was real? So don't let this hurt you, yo. I don't know. I didn't let it hurt me. I was like, yeah, but if the people creating this, I know that all of them, I'm sure a lot of the writers or producers and stuff like that, I'm sure a lot of them believe that the earth is spinning and all that stuff. But I'm sure a lot of them are enjoying what they see and what they write, knowing that this is a level realm. I'm sure. And when I was awoken to this, I was like, damn, but it didn't take anything away. The imagination could go far, yo. So what's the big deal? That was still fun to watch. It doesn't take away my joy. I could pop in a Transformers movie right now and see the part when they walked on the moon and be like, yo, that's cool. That's cool. The whole concept of jumping, of the lower gravity and stuff like that. The differences. I used to watch anime. There was this anime a long time ago. I wish I remember what it was, but everybody that went to Mars were I think they were they strong? No, Earthlings were stronger than the Martians because I think the gravity on Earth was stronger, so they're like Superman there and something. Yeah, and I remember that it was like a space trucking anime. I wish I knew what it was because it was like some obscure thing I watched way back in the day. But I remember enjoying that. That still comes to mind once in a while, yo. So every time I see a truck, I start thinking about it. I'm like, yo, that was a cool anime, yo. I should write a movie on that. It's like, that's what comes to mind. So it doesn't take away anything other than your fantasy of it being real. So stop letting this hurt you. Stop attacking flat earthers for believing in this stuff, because everything we have holds water. What you guys don't. Okay, you have to go through this to prove. Like, look what you have to go through. You have to justify Nazism in order to say, yeah, it's real. Believe liars. Believe people who you believe, right? We're burning off a certain group of people, putting them in camps, right? But you're choosing to still believe them. Even with this whole bullshit astronaut story, right? You conveniently cannot touch the pieces that fall to Earth. Why? Where is this radioactive stuff coming from? So when it's launching into space, they're only 10 miles away from a few miles, 10, I think it's 10 miles away from the launching site. When that shit's shooting up, that thing's not in the air. That's not in the air fucking with them. You mean to tell me they can deal with that fallout, but if a piece falls on the floor or cools down, you can't touch it? You can't even get close enough to take a picture? It's gonna... Don't let me get into the whole nuclear radioactive rabbit hole for you right now. I'm just trying to... one conspiracy at a time. But straight up, if this doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will, yo. You got to go through a lot to believe this. I'm droning on, as I always do. My bad. But yeah, so that's it for now, man. So be sure, if you enjoyed, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Also, I'm on Rumble. And if you're catching us on Rumble, YouTube, and join my Patreon, because I have a lot of stuff there. I have these. I'll have, what do you call it? The uncensored stuff. And a whole bunch of links, my thoughts, blogs, everything will go there. Like I said in my last video, that's going to be the bunker for me, Patreon. That's my bunker. So, nothing can touch me. So, yeah, so check that out. Make sure you subscribe to that. Become a patron for the price of pie, if you so choose to, but I will appreciate it. And if not, yo, at least hit the likes and share this, clip this, do whatever you want with it, but at least show some love before you do so. So, with all that being said, cheers.